let's get into Inside Star Citizen Review and have a fun night. Hey everyone, welcome to DG360. Welcome to the Inside Star Citizen Review. Let's see tonight. We got Zeus and MFDs. I'm very excited. I love the Zeus. I love the design of it. It's a ship that's grown on me. At first, at the unveiling of CitizenCon, I did not like it, and through the various months of studying it, looking at its overall purpose and its architecture, absolutely love it. And let's see what we have to find tonight with the Zeus.
First introduced at last year's CitizenCon, the RSI Zeus is steadily working its way through the ship pipeline to its intended release. And on this week's show, we'll take a look at 2 of its variants, as well as the new MFD rework that you've seen glimpses of here and there. It's a multifunctional show. Let's get to it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hello. Hello there.
The RSI Zeus Mark II is a reimagining of the original RSI Zeus. The Zeus was the first mass-made human exploration ship that was capable of doing quantum travel.
We didn't want to just make the Zeus again. We wanted to kind of pay homage to what made the Zeus important, what made it iconic back then. We wanted to kind of give that an update and kind of bring it up to modern day visuals and make sure it really feels RSI.
Although I will say this, and I said this at CitizenCon, and I still stand by this statement. If they made a replica Zeus, it would sell so fucking fire that they should just do the old school replica Zeus and make like a limited amount of them, and they would be bought up like you can't even believe. You could put a premium on the price. Listen to me, marketing people at Cloud Imperium, ship design. All right, John Crew, everyone, get on the actual reproduction, the replica version of the Zeus, and you will be able to sell it at a premium and only make like 1,000 of them, right? Oh my God, it's a no-brainer. Do it. Do it.
It's RSI
Love
style, but we feel it's almost a improvement upon the style. It's sort of an evolution of the style. And so players will appreciate the consistency with other RSI ships, but you can see the technological advancement of RSI.
You may remember the Zeus from our episode in Jump Points a few weeks ago on Inside Star Citizen.
It was very good.
It was very good, Jared tells me. The Zeuses are a great stepping stone ship. So you've got your starter ship originally, you've dipped your toes in a few gameplay loops, and you just want to be able to do a bit more. The Zeuses allow you to do that with some friends.
So yeah, it supports up to 3 crew members, but you can fly it yourself if you want. And if you've got a buddy, they can man the turrets.
The Zeuses, for me, are probably some of the best-looking ships we've ever produced for Star Citizen. I think they really set a new visual standard in both their shape and style. So when we release the Zeus, it comes with both the ES and the CL, both together in the same patch. The ES is the exploration-focused variant of the Zeus, so it has a modest-sized cargo bay, larger hydrogen and quantum fuel tanks.
Is the MR not going to be ready? Is the MR not going to be flyable? That's the black version, man. Whoo! That's the one I love. That's the one we had a giveaway on that one. Okay. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you.
Larger radar and a more spacious living area.
That MR is where it's at, dude.
The CL, the cargo version, maximizes its cargo capacity. It does that by shunting the sort of central bulkhead towards the front of the ship. So that increases the cargo capacity from 32 to 128 SCU at the expense of just really cramming in the living quarters to be much more compact.
The exterior of the Zeus ES has got that very kind of iconic RSI arrowhead shape.
We tried to stick to what was like the homage that the concept made of the first Zeus.
It keeps the kind of central fuselage but you've got this big kind of central mass with these
great
lovely
angles,
kind of quite fast and aggressive looking wings. And they kind of just help to make it feel quite aggressive and quite sharp, which I think builds on what RSI as a brand are kind of really about.
The big details on the flat surfaces, the mix of materials, I think is very well balanced.
I'm still a massive fan of the underside. Undersides of our ships sometimes get a little bit underlooked or overlooked. Yeah, but I think the underside, the belly, originally the plan was for it to be kind of completely smooth and completely all one surface, but as we started to work it up, the artists that were working on it kind of like, oh yeah, can we add a little bit of recesses?
Eric goes, what's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy? He says, man, the Connie is really showing its age compared to the Zeus styling with the RSI. Yes.
We had a little bit of relief into this shape just to kind of help build on the believability, and I think it was a real success.
So weaponry-wise, across all of them, the pilot has access to twin size 4 guns.
Enemy down.
And the side seats have access to the remote turrets.
Yeah.
When we look at the difference between the ES and the cargo, with the cargo we wanted to add a little bit more structure and believability into the exterior of the ship. This is supposed to carry a lot more weight, so we wanted to kind of bulk up the main structural points. So we've got some large additional bracing down the center. And then the other thing that a cargo version is going to require is some additional thrust. So we want to
that cargo arm needs to be on other ships as well, like the Cutlass Black, and that arm. That's a smart idea with the boom arm there on that tractor beam. I think you'll start seeing a lot more ships that have the back cargo areas that have the tractor beams have that boom arm on it.
Kind of bulk up the main thrusters at the rear that allow you to kind of take off, and those kind of downward pointing thrusters have grown in size and add to that believability that this vehicle can lift a bit more weight than the base version.
There's a couple ships that could use that right now.
So if we start at the front of the ship, it's quite a tight space. One of the things that we kind of really realized early on with the vehicle is that we crammed a lot of stuff into the space that we had to play with. So the cockpit is quite tight. You've got a nice kind of 3-person cockpit up the front, and the seating arrangement echoes that kind of arrow shape that we see on the exterior of the ship, and that just helps to make the pilot have the important up front seat, but also just ties everything together a little bit, which is lovely. As we go back through the ship, we go into the airlock and the engineering area. This area changed quite a bit during the vehicle's development. We actually opened this space up a little bit. We took out one of the bulkheads. One of the things we realized as we kind of got into production was that there was maybe a few too many doors. This really was the ideal place to kind of remove one of those and open that area up a little bit. So we've got this engineering section that has the kind of main docking collar and also has the ladder exit. And so we've got our kind of 2 front exits on the vehicle. And then as we go back through the corridor section, we have like a bit of a crossroads, so you can either go into the kitchen area, which still has its nice window and looks out and it's beautiful and perfect, or on the right we've got the habitation area where we've got 3 beds, toilet, a nice little seating area, lockers, and everything you need really in terms of a hab.
Get out, get out, get out.
And then as we go into the back of the ship, that's really where we get to our larger ship components. And
very well laid out. I'm noticing on the newer ships that are coming down the way that they've laid out the engineering equipment much better. The overall architecture of the ships has become much more utilitarian and smoother over the years, you know, to the point where you have older ships like 3 years plus older. Almost feels like you're walking into like a museum relic compared to some of these newer ships coming out. You know, it is kind of weird, the progression of the game, where if you have an older ship, especially if they haven't done a rework on it, you're kind of hurt and you're like, why the fuck am I not just melting this for something newer? You know, the game itself, the ships are morphing towards the style of this, you know, the game itself. As the time moves on, these ships are becoming sexier and sexier, really, and the layout's much more utilitarian, you know.
In our cargo area.
Yeah.
With the cargo version, the Clipper, there's obviously a lot more space dedicated to cargo compared to the base version. To achieve that, what we've had to do is adjust some of the kind of like the rear layout of the ships.
Yes.
We had to rearrange the components so that they're closer up to the doorway, and we had to move the weapon locker from the corridor into the actual cargo hold. So
yeah, like the layout of the ship is really well done. Explodo says, I wish they would start finishing ships and reworking ships instead of all these new ones. We have all these ships that are trash compared to new ships. You got a lot of older ships now that really need a rework and need some love, Explodo. You're absolutely right. The only problem is they're not going to make any money off that, right? So they won't do that. They won't do that. They might, you know, here and there, but, you know, the ship development team needs more people in it, frankly. If the focus is so much the ships, then I would say it's time for the ship development team to get a lot more love. Crew always looks stressed out. John Crew is literally always stressed out. I'm surprised he still has his hair, for fuck's sake. And every time I'm watching Crew, he keeps his composure fairly well, but you know he's a ticking time bomb underneath, and you know the man needs more developers, man. He needs more ship designers and devs on his team. I can tell the way Crew sounds, dude.
So there was a lot of rearranging.
But what that does buy us is enough space to fit the kind of extra cargo in. We've also had to sacrifice some of the kitchen area. In the habitation, you lose the sofa and the nice seating area. But on the positive, we get much more cargo space, which for kind of a dedicated cargo ship is the most important thing.
You'll notice that on the floor, there'll be blue trimming exactly where the player can place cargo. It'll be a lot easier for the player to know where you can access the components versus where you can place cargo on the sides.
This has been a great first full ship from concept to release for the Montreal vehicle team.
This is one ship that took an entire year to build. Like, the amount of work that goes into these ships is insane, both in art and design.
They built on...
And let's not understate that. Primarily the reason that Star Citizen is as successful as it is your direct relation to your ship, like this direct connection that you have to your ship. That's a huge selling factor. These ships being able to walk inside of them and have a unique ship all to yourself, you know, that only a few other people have. This is one of the reasons why the game is just, the revenues are ridiculous.
And kind of what they'd learned with the cutters and really just done a fantastic job in taking what was you know, the original vision of the ship and really delivering it in something that I think it looks great, it should play great, and I think they just did a fantastic job across the board.
To me, you know, the final product shows there's nothing in any other game that can come close to the level of detail, the amount of thought.
That's true. Explodo, that is a good point. If more of the devs or focus was onto going onto the older ships and giving them a pass over on a rework, or even going the next step and making them gold standards, Explodo, I agree with your comment. I think backers would go back and rebuy old ships if they were fixed, you know? How many ships have we loved and have moved on from because they feel abandoned? Yes, Explodo. That's not a bad idea, man. That's not a bad idea. Good thought process, bro. Good thought process.
Into every button, every component bay, everything, you know, is in its place.
So the Zeus is another great addition to the fleet of ships in Star Citizen, and being RSI, it obviously has that special touch, sharing the name of our company and founder. And we are excited to see this ship set foot in the verse and push along.
I like this. Hugh says, I melded my Retaliator when they fixed it, and he's laughing. I love that. Aether says, let's see here. I'm not quite sure. Retro says, problem is that if they keep adding more features to ships, more ships are going to need a rework. So it's probably in a way easier to make all the ships and then go back and do all the ones that need updating. And then Aether says, I'm not sure if I agree with that. If the ship already exists, rework has to be easier than building a new one. Man, I'd love to sit down with John Crew and ask him about these. These are really good questions to be asking John. You know, like what takes more work, to do the rework, to go in and gut it and rework it or refab the thing? Or does it take more work to just start from scratch? I wonder now with all the new tech that they have, if it's easier just building the ship. But like they said here with Zeus, it took them a year. So, I mean, it can't be that easy.
Along the RSI style, ahead of a big year for RSI ships.
Ships don't set foot, John, they fly.
Got their feet.
Just being argumentative.
The MFDs and the ship HUD and the PU, it's old.
And the actual UI itself is very small. One color, they're all in one color. Text is too small to read.
It's very samey, right? It has a bunch of stuff on it that you don't really use.
Not very new user-friendly.
Any user-friendly.
Yeah. Any user-friendly.
It was good for its time. It did the job. It got us where we are today.
But it's time for something new, and that's what we're going to talk about.
The reason why we're doing this now is because we had a lot of time during the development of Squadron to create an expandable and a more robust system for MFDs.
We have a bunch of super nice MFDs ready for Squadron, and now we're moving them over to Star Citizen.
Thank you, Orson. Super appreciate you. Thank you, Cheerwall, for the added bits too as well. I appreciate you. As my YouTube channel, thank you, Wooksy, is in jeopardy of being deleted. Fans are stepping up to support the live show. Thank you so much. I will keep you all posted with the YouTube channel and what is going on there. I'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. The channel got copyright struck twice, so we're dealing with some fun on YouTube. Holy shit, Hugh.
I'm warning you.
God bless you guys.
Next time, it's gonna be glass.
You guys are the best. All of you are the best. Hold on. Hugh is an upstanding gentleman. Hugh coming in like a boss, for God's sake. Thank you, Hugh. Yeah, I got real nervous today when I saw that, and I was like, oh no, everything we've worked for is going to be deleted. And it was just it just depressed me. But like, I keep telling you guys, like, I do this because I love to do it. And that's why I'm here tonight with you all. And I have the ability to still be here. I'm on Twitch as well. And I'm like, I'm going to have fun. I'm here for the fun. I mean what I say. You know, like I'm actually here because I love spending time with you all and I love having fun. So thank you for being here with me tonight. And thank you for all the love and support, because it really does lift me up and keep me motivated. Thank you, Hugh. And it's very hard to do this. Like it's in so much that you are doing it to help your real life situation and use it for paying bills. But in terms of just doing it, it's great. It's fun. In terms of being here, it's easy. It's easy for me to want to be here and do this for you all because I love doing it, because I love being here. So thank you so very much. I appreciate you all. Thank you. I feel the love. Thank you very much.
It's also really good to bring it over now because we've got the new resource network system, so we need to have the MFDs here to support that new gameplay.
Yeah.
Initial release, there'll be 5 visual styles to the MFD.
I wanted to add that it's nice to see that these are coming over from Squadron 42. You have so many haters out there that are like, oh, yeah, right, sure, whatever. But then you get to see and hear devs talking about the tech that's sliding over from Squadron 42 that I was telling people about years ago, upon years ago, that was happening. And this is a continual thing that always happens.
MFDs and the HUDs.
There's Aegis.
It's very militaristic and it's very sleek.
I like it. Very easy
Anvil
to read.
Is great. I love the green color of Anvil. It feels a lot more like an F-16 cockpit. Drake is my favorite. It's retro and Blade Runner and CRTs.
Here's the Argo.
It really feels like a piece of industrial equipment, which is what the brand is going for.
And there's the generic style that will support all the other ship manufacturers for the time being. For this release, the MFDs are getting 9 different views. Oh, how many is that even? Well, let's go through it.
We'll start with self-status. Self-status includes all of the critical information about your ship dependent on your current operator mode. So you'll have your ammo numbers in guns mode, you'll have your missile arming in missile mode, and your fuel readouts in quantum mode. There's also a unique version for turrets as well.
We have taken away a lot of, well, faff from there. So this is simpler than before.
Weapons active. It's more condensed and it links into the new systems that have been developed in terms of vehicle features. For example, it shows your updated gimbal modes, and it also shows your current weapon group, which is a new thing as well. Target status is the same thing, but it gives you the information about the target that you have currently selected.
It's mostly going to be, for a lot of players, the ship holo. You're going to want to see, am I dealing some damage or not? You will also have the emissions, so you know what missile to use against them. And you will see their names, so you know that you're not shooting the wrong person.
It's not as much information, because obviously, if you want to see how much ammo they've got, you've got to scan them. But it will show you their health, it will show you their faction, it will show you their velocity. Weapon config is entirely new. It links into the new weapon grouping system, so it will list out every single weapon on your ship. The ammo that you have,
That was nice. Did you guys check out that? Did you guys look at the right MFD? Your groupings on the MFD screens, that's really nice, man. The way they laid that out, I really dig that. That is so much more utilitarian, man. Totally dig that. Like, the grouping on the MFDs is a big deal for me as a PvPer. That's awesome.
It will list out every single weapon on your ship. The ammo that you have, they'll light up if they're selected, and also it allows you to...
Dude, I want to start seeing this towards the vehicle management system as well, man. That's so sloppy, it needs cleaned up. Dude, if they apply the same thing to these MFDs that they could to the vehicle loadout section on your Moby, whoo, dudes. I mean, like, the vehicle loadout on your Moby should be much easier and more intuitive. If you guys agree, put a 1 in there. I personally think the vehicle loadout screen is so goddamn cumbersome. And so if we can streamline the fucking vehicle loadout, oh my God, please, for fuck's sake, let's do what we're doing. I'm seeing on these MFDs, and let's please apply it to the fucking vehicle loadout on the Moby. For God's sake, it's so cumbersome. But I'm happy to see this. Like, I really love the fact that you're able to group weapons by your MFD screens, that's intuitive. That's what I'm talking about. With UI, everything has to be intuitive, and this is exactly, when I say that, that's what it means. Like, ready to go, easy, there it is, group them, done. Within, like, 10, 15 seconds, you can figure it out just by looking at the MFDs type thing. Like, love it, love it.
Assign them to one of 4 custom groups, so you can have any combination of weapons that you want firing at the same time, and it makes it easy to see which group of weapons you're firing.
Yeah, upon initial setup, I like the MFDs, but yeah, Explodo's right. Like, PvPers are going to go for your hotkeys. Like, right, Explodo.
And if you just don't assign one of those groups, if you feel like, well, 4's too many, I just use 2 anyway.
That's good.
Well, you can just assign to 2 of them, and you'll be fine.
Bone. Right.
This will be valuable, so the player can, in combat, switch between different modes depending on kind of distance and what kind of weapons they want to use.
On a day-to-day, you might be tracking down a particular target. It is a subject of a mission, and you know that a certain weapon is going to be more effective against them than another, or a certain weapon combination is going to be more effective. You can stick them all in one group and have quick access to that.
Clean.
Shields is pretty much the same as what it was. You can control each of your shield faces if you have 4 shield faces. If you have 1, you can control the whole thing. And it gives you a reset button, so you can set it all back to default, and also you can see your total shield usage out of the maximum.
I like that. On the shield faces, you have a 100 at full, and then you can kind of go up or down depending upon which side of the shield you want with the most. That's pretty slick right there. That's nice. And then you got a reset button here, and then you can just push plus or minus on how you want to buff your shields out, where the power you want to go to, which side of the shield that you want. That's excellent. That's excellent.
For the time being,
again, people will hotkey the shields as well, but like I just like that this is built into the MFDs and it's simplistic. I do like that.
This is going to be the same thing that you're already used to.
And along with that are scanning and communications. Scanning's been moved from the HUD to an MFD state.
Okay.
For new screens, the biggest one is power management.
Engines on.
It's a simplified version
Polaris,
of what you'll find on an engineering terminal, but it's for sort of daily use for the pilot.
It's using the full power of the resource network system, and it gives it to you right there in the pilot seat, so you can do the full assignments as you like them if you're flying solo. This is also where you will see your emissions. So if you're doing anything stealthy, you go into power management, you set your settings to low, and you will see your emissions adjust accordingly.
You can turn on and off different systems in the ship. You can apply different levels of power to each system. You can see your total output, how much you're using, and you can also see different status readouts for those systems. So if something has run out of power or it's offline, it will also represent that on the power management MFD.
Engines.
Dude, I like this. I like this from what I'm seeing right now. I like this.
Off.
Along with that is the diagnostics view.
The diagnostics view is where you go to check in on your ship. If something's not feeling right, well, maybe check diagnostics.
It will show you the wear that component has taken, as well as its current health and its status, whether it has any errors, and there'll be a summary at the top of the screen that shows.
Okay, we're getting a little bit more engineering play where people were saying, oh, it's just fire and nothing else is going to be tied to it. We're starting to see now components on your ship being tied to your MFD screens and showing you possible areas in your ship that have areas that need attending. It's cool. Cool. It's happening a lot faster than people thought, huh?
Shows you how many of your components have errors. And last, what I'm really excited about is the configuration screen. It takes a lot of these settings that were hidden away in the options menu or just in the back end and puts them right there for you to toggle in-world on your MFD screen instantly.
The configuration view is great. You can now turn off unwanted UI if you really wish to. You can turn off the cast, which is my favorite part. If you have screens on the top left and top right of your screen, then you can turn off those casts now to clear the UI a little bit.
So this configuration screen allows you to configure a few aspects of some different MFD states, as well as what goes on your HUD and how that looks.
You can finally control what goes on our HUD?
We can finally control what goes on our HUD, yeah. So let's talk about the HUD. Using the configuration screen, you can choose whether or not you're showing your MFD casts, which are simplified and more tactile versions of the self-status and target status screen.
Functionality-wise, it's stuff you know already. You have your velocity, you have your afterburner, you have your annunciators, and you have different indicators.
They show critical information when you can't look at your dashboard in front of you. So if you're in a fighter and you're looking up in the sky, you can...
Clean. Much cleaner.
Still see that, as well as allowing you to still see that information when you're in precision targeting mode.
We've decided to clear up all of the nonsense we have in the middle and kind of make it out of the way of the middle of the screen. So
I gotta say, it's looking clean. Some of the colors need, you need a little bit more highlights in there, right, Diva? I hear what you're saying, hon. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. There could be a couple more highlights. Visually, so much cleaner, though. Visual, so much cleaner, but I agree with Diva. It's like a couple touches of highlights.
It looks so long, Joe.
I'm sorry. It wasn't me. Oh, God.
It looks good.
We've also done a little bit of work making the radar and the HUD feel more diegetic and making it look like it actually exists in the cockpit with grounding effects and emission rate origin points as well.
It all just feels so much better. It feels real.
Good. Yes, I like that the dev said that, because the looks, and I think I'm the type of guy that I'm in there, I'll believe it when I see it. I know I'm seeing it right now, but like when I'm in the cockpit flying with it, then I'll know for sure if it's something I like. But from everything that I'm seeing here, I really do like this. It looks very clean.
It all just feels so much better. It feels real.
That's what we're looking for.
So with this new ship and vehicle HUD, it's just going to be a clearer experience overall. It's going to be clearer in the sense that you don't have stuff in your face all the time. It's going to be clearer in the sense that you can actually read the UI. So I think you'll be very happy with it.
Yeah, good.
It's going to be such a nice thing to just be out in space and be able to see space, right?
I've always said this, especially with space sims, space flight, space combat. The UI in terms of the functionality and what your ship is doing, the health of your ship, the weaponry, the grouping, all that, the MFDs need to be secondary to the visual appeal, like the actual fact that you're out in space, that you have this beautiful expanse in front of you. The UI should just come in to help you navigate and do what it is that you need to do. Right? It should look slick, and they've done a better job at looking slick, but it needs to be like an add-on feature. It needs to be like tactile. It needs to be there. It's like a tertiary thing. It's just like it needs to give you that information, but the look of the game, it should not interfere with like space. It should enhance it. It should be an enhancer. It should be an enhancer. Right. Yes. like a butterfly kiss. Yes. And like Explodo says as well, right? It needs to give you all info you can want and more without busting your balls. Right, dude. DY says, I can't wait to attend the briefing in Squadron 42. I couldn't help but think new HUD and MFD tech would be used there too. Yeah, it's great to see that they're sliding it over. It's really nice to see that it's that clean in Squadron 42 and that they're sliding that over. So there's another piece of design work from Squadron 42 that's sliding over, like many things do in the project. Yeah, cool point, DY.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the Zeus is the first ship made by the newly established Montreal vehicle team. That the MFD rework is an exciting and easily usable and customizable upgrade to what we've had before.
So the ship itself was created by the Montreal team, which I think is outside of John Crew's personal dev team that he's working with. I'm not quite sure, but it is interesting to hear that they've referred to the Montreal vehicle design team now a few times in this, and I'm wondering if they're going to go forward and make more ships. I like what they created with the Zeus. I mean, please make more for real, or have the team go back and do the reworks that the audience here has been requesting. I really think that's important when we do these Inside Star Citizen reviews, and I see so many people asking about reworks and going in on older ships because they think it will actually help sales on ships that are already completed, quote unquote, right? But they just need that loving touch. I think it's important we do this because that voice gets out there, and Cloud Imperium could actually make a business decision where they assign a couple people to go back and do the work. You know, like a lot of times we talk about certain issues as they come up here on the show, and I do see things happen from some of the things that we say here. So, you know, I think that's a great comments tonight by everyone talking about like older ships needing love, and hopefully we do see that. I think it just seems like smart business practice for them to do that, you know. And if they can get a team on it, like say they get this Montreal vehicle team to do that, why not? You know, if they did such a great job on the Zeus, go in and, you know, touch up and give some love to some of the older ships that we really want to see reworked, you know?
And that it plugs nicely into the upcoming resource network and engineering work scheduled for Alpha 4.0. which we'll be showcasing next week. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
Okay. And it seems like, I have to say, I am seeing, we have been talking about dynamic server meshing a lot. And I did watch this. Where's it at here? Okay, well, it was somewhere up here. It was last week's Star Citizen Live with Benoit Bessager. I did watch that. It left me with some questions. However, it is nice to see them talk more about them and bring people on directly responsible for the server tech that I so desperately want them to be the pioneers of, which they are. They're doing that work. They're being the pioneers. So it's nice to see that as well, because we've been talking about that for the past year. So it's nice to see some focus being put in that respect. And it was nice to see Benoit on there. God, I wish. So many questions, though. There's still so many questions I have after that interview. But anyway, thanks for joining me here tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, like and share this. Thank you for watching the Inside Star Citizen Review. Try and get here live with our amazing fans and audience every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was a little late tonight because I got hit with some copyright strikes and it kind of bummed me out. But I am here and I am having a great time, and I will never leave you. I will always be here for you. So back to our Star Citizen After Dark. And if you're on YouTube, try and get here.